观众朋友们好，现在是美国东部时间3月5日，这里是华尔街网报当日第4期节目。现在我们继续为您带来俄乌局势的最新消息。首先来看到经济金融方面的消息 ，Visa 卡和万事达卡今天分别宣布将叫停在俄罗斯的业务。万事达宣布，在俄罗斯银行发行的卡将不再得到万事达网络的支持，任何在国外发行的万事达卡都不能在俄罗斯商户或自动提款机上使用。Visa 方面也表示，用在俄罗斯发行的 Visa 卡发起的所有交易在国外将不再有效，由俄罗斯以外的金融机构发行的任何 Visa 卡在俄罗斯境内也将不再有效。根据来自路透社的整理报道 ，Visa 卡和万事达卡占据了俄罗斯3/4的支付份额。此前 ，Visa 首席执行官表示，由于俄罗斯无端入侵，公司不得不采取行动。万事达卡则表示，看到了入侵令人震惊和破坏性的影响。两家公司都表示，交易将在未来几天内全部停止，具体时间线目前尚未公布。再为您关注到的是乌克兰谈判团队成员基列夫有关的消息。此前，《华尔街网报》引述乌克兰媒体《乌克兰真理报》所得知的消息，向您介绍基列夫涉嫌叛国罪，在被抓捕时拒捕，因而受到枪决。而今天下午晚些时候，乌克兰军情机构则表示，此前被报道枪决的乌克兰谈判小组成员基列夫是在执行任务时被杀的，又表示他是我们的情报人员，牺牲为乌克兰做出了贡献。尽管如此，事情似乎还十分不明了。就在此前的几个小时之内，泽伦斯基总统的顾问在接受电视采访时表示，掌握了大量电话和录音资料，显示基列夫有间谍行为。目前，泽伦斯基办公室还没有进行进一步的澄清。再为您关注到的是以色列总理贝内特与普京会谈的更多进展。根据来自路透社的报道，贝内特的发言人表示，以色列总理贝内特在今天在克里姆林宫会见了普京，讨论了乌克兰战争问题。随后，他与乌克兰总统泽伦斯基又通了电话。根据以色列官员的通报，贝内特也正在与美国、法国和德国协调斡旋和平。他的发言人表示，在与普京会晤后，贝内特前往柏林与德国总理肖尔茨进行会谈。爱丽舍宫方面则表示，法国总统马克龙在贝内特飞往莫斯科之前曾经与他谈过，向他介绍自己与普京的谈话。爱丽舍表示，他们将继续保持联系，目的是停火，这需要与肖尔茨继续协调。在泽伦斯基的要求下，以色列提出对俄罗斯和乌克兰之间的冲突进行调解。以色列官员表示，在克里姆林宫总共进行了3个小时的会晤。贝内特还向普京提出了陷入乌克兰战争、庞大犹太社区的问题。以色列卫生部表示，以色列将在下周向乌克兰派出医疗队，建立为难民提供医疗的野外医院。以色列此前谴责俄罗斯的入侵，对基辅表示声援，并表示会向乌克兰提供人道主义援助，同时表示与莫斯科将保持联系，希望能够帮助缓解危机。根据来自路透社的整理报道，以色列有很多来自前苏联的移民人口，同时也注意到莫斯科对于邻国叙利亚总统阿萨德的军事支持。同时，贝内特和普京还讨论了包括俄罗斯在内的世界大国与伊朗之间正在进行的关于恢复2015年核协议的会谈。俄罗斯在周六表示，西方因其入侵乌克兰而实施的制裁已成为伊核协议的绊脚石。以色列反对任何恢复协议的做法。贝内特的发言人表示，在今天周六，贝内特违反安息日法飞往莫斯科，因为他的目的是保护人类生命，而犹太教允许这样做。陪同他的是出生于乌克兰的住房部长埃尔金。埃尔金过去曾经作为翻译，陪同前总理内塔尼亚胡与普京会谈。再为您关注到的是来自《纽约时报》的独家报道。文章引述消息人士表示，美国高级官员将在今天前往委内瑞拉，与委内瑞拉总统马杜罗政府会面。原因是在乌克兰问题上对峙不断增大的情况下，拜登政府正加紧努力将俄罗斯与其剩余的国际盟友分开。根据来自《纽约时报》的介绍，此举是多年来华盛顿官员对于委内瑞拉的最高级别访问。美国此前指责这一位专制领导人选举舞弊，2019年与马杜罗政府断绝了外交关系，关闭了在卡拉卡斯的大使馆。川普政府随后试图推翻马杜罗政府，制裁委内瑞拉石油出口和该国高级官员，并承认反对派领导人瓜伊 伊多为委内瑞拉的合法总统。马杜罗对制裁的回应是寻求俄罗斯的帮助，以及伊朗和中国的经济和外交援助。根据美国官员、委内瑞拉官员和相关能源商人表示，俄罗斯能源公司和银行在允许委内瑞拉继续出口石油方面发挥了作用，石油仍然是委内瑞拉最大的外汇来源。根据来自《纽约时报》的介绍，官员们表示，俄罗斯对乌克兰的入侵促使美国更密切地关注普京在拉美的盟友。华盛顿认为，如果与俄罗斯的对峙加深，这些盟友可能会成为自己的安全威胁。随着俄罗斯经济面临崩溃，美国也在可能将普京视为日益软弱盟友的拉美专制国家中推进其民主议程。美国以及其盟友从本月开始考虑对俄罗斯的石油和天然气出口制裁。隶属于美国2个主要政党的相关议员和官员都表示，委内瑞拉石油是潜在的替代品。再为您关注到的是这一时段的其他要闻。德国驻南非大使馆在推特上面以官方账号反驳俄国驻南非大使馆称军事行动是打击乌克兰纳粹这样的说法。德国使馆账号写道，在这个问题上我们必须说话了。随后指责俄罗斯是为自己的利益袭击妇女、儿童等平民，这并不是打击纳粹，又表示相信这一套的人应该引以为耻。随后德国使馆账号在括号里面还补充一句自嘲，说不幸的是，我们这个国家在纳粹主义这个问题上算得上是专家。此前，《华尔街网报》向您证实美国女篮球明星格里娜在俄罗斯被拘的消息。来自《纽约时报》的报道介绍了更多情况。目前，俄罗斯海关证实已拘留美国女篮明星格里娜，表示在莫斯科附近的一个机场检验时，发现她的行李中含有哈希石油，也就是大麻油。《纽约时报》表示，很多美国篮球明星运动员在非赛季时会去俄罗斯打球，原因是那里的薪水更加优厚。有趣的是，其实格里娜被拘是在3周之前，但是在今天，俄罗斯有关方面才正式证实了相关消息。外界普遍担心格里娜是否会成为谈判人质筹码。
Пустой. Нет, да. Влетел, да, сюда, наверное. Дырочка. А вон еще одна, смотри. Вот еще один снаряд влетел и вылетел где-то, наверное, в окно.
This demonstration, a lot of sympathy to the Ukrainian people, and we think all the world should make something like acting, stop the war now, because this is going to be a lot of destruction there, a lot of people are going to die, and this is war for no reason.
the reason I'm here is to stand against Putin, who is destroying the Ukrainian people as well as the Russian people. He is a tyrant.
Thank you again.
Absolutely. Thank you. Take care.
It's her.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. And we just saw some people from Luxembourg over there who were
Thank you. It was an honor to meet you, my friend.
Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much. And thank you for everything. It's my honor because I'm so impressed with what you're doing. I was just saying, at a time when we need it, it's a very positive story for the world, the work that you're doing. So, thank you. When did you actually get here?
About 10 days ago.
Yeah. And where did you get, where were you coming from?
Ваші президенти Войцеховський виступав. Я вечором дивилася.
Bombing every night, air raid sirens every night. I got out to do more in other ways too. So just air raid sirens every night. They're obliterating many cities.
Well, it's my great pleasure and honor to welcome.
I know that for virtually each and every one of you, this is not only professional, this is personal. So many of you have deep ties, deep connections, deep feelings for Ukraine, for its people, for the friends that you've made, the professional relationships you've developed, and I know how powerful that is, both as a driver, but also it's a challenge because I know what you've been through in the last weeks, shutting down in Kyiv, moving to Lviv, and moving out of Lviv, back to Lviv, and out, and all the while determined to do everything that you can for our friends and partners in Ukraine. You all know better than anyone what's at stake in this effort. What's at stake is, of course, first and foremost, the lives, the well-being, the future of so many Ukrainians. And for all the numbers we throw around, each and every one of those numbers has a real person behind it. And that's something I know you know better than anyone because you know the people. But it's also big because the very principles that are at the heart of the international system, as challenged as it is, that are really important to trying to keep peace and security, that we established after 2 world wars to try to make sure it never happened again. Those principles are being assaulted by Vladimir Putin along with the Ukrainian people. Our determination to make sure this doesn't go with impunity is about Ukraine, and honestly, it's about the whole world. The part you're playing in this now is vitally important because you're so much a part of the connectivity that we have with Ukraine and with Ukrainians. Christine, thank you very much. And look, I really want to have a chance to hear from as many of you as possible. Answer.
Good afternoon, everyone. The entire world stands with Ukraine, just as I am standing here in Ukraine with my friend, my colleague, Dmytro Kuleba, the Foreign Minister of Ukraine. We've seen an extraordinary surge of support from around the world against Russia's aggression, against Russia's war of choice, against what is happening every single day, every single minute in Ukraine to civilians throughout the country as a result of this aggression, but also extraordinary support for Ukraine itself. We've come from several days of meetings with NATO, the European Union, countries beyond the G7, and we see that support not only continue security support, humanitarian support, economic support, but that support will increase. And as to the pressure on Russia, not only is it unprecedented, not only is it producing very, very concrete results in Russia, but that pressure too will not only continue, it will grow until this war of choice is brought to an end. I have to say that I'm in awe of my friend, his entire government, President Zelensky, the courage that they are showing every day, the leadership that they're showing to the world. It's inspiring, and the world is here, the world is with you.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I would like to thank Tony for coming here to Ukraine. Literally, we just crossed the line and we are standing here. I hope the people of Ukraine will be able to see this as a clear manifestation that we have friends who literally stand by us. Thank you for your leadership in consolidating international community in support of Ukraine. We had meaningful discussions about weapons, about sanctions, about isolation of Russia on the international arena. And the message that I have to convey, that I would like to convey now, is very simple. Ukraine will win this war anyway, because this is the people's war for their land, and we defend the right cause. The question is the price of our victory. And if our partners continue to take bold, systemic decisions to step up economic and political pressure on Ukraine, if they continue to provide us with necessary weapons, the price will be lower. This will save many lives in Ukraine, many houses, many children will be born, many sufferings will be avoided. This is the only question that is on the agenda. If anyone in the world one day starts feeling the sanctions fatigue, for example, then more people in Ukraine will be dying, suffering, and more destruction will be brought on us by Russian airplanes and by Russian weapons. So we appreciate everything that has been done in the last week. Unprecedented, swift reaction to the Russian aggression. But it has to be continued, pressure has to be stepped up, and Ukraine has to be provided with all weapons necessary to fight in this, as Tony said, war of choice of President Putin. It's no secret that the highest demand that we have is in fighting jets, attack aircrafts, and air defense systems. We thank all those countries, including the United States, who provided us with Stingers. We effectively used them, and just today we shot down 3 Russian attack aircrafts which were bombing our cities. with the use of Stingers, but we need, so to say, big air defense systems to ensure the safety of our skies. If we lose the skies, there will be much more blood on the ground, and that will be the blood of civilians. And I don't want anyone to share responsibility for their blood, anyone in the world to share responsibility for their death and suffering. Yes, and we will continue to call. I understand. I hear the messages. I heard what the NATO Secretary General said yesterday after the meeting of the allies. I regret. I think it's a sign of weakness of NATO. We've been saying many things for the last 8 years about Russia, about its intentions. We were never heard. Everyone was saying, many were saying, you're exaggerating, this is not going to happen. People were, then at a certain point, some countries were saying, no, we can never supply you with weapons. But in the last 8 days, the world politics were shattered by the Russian aggression against Ukraine, and those countries who had never supplied us with weapons are now doing so. So I'm used to it. We are now in the phase where NATO is saying, no, we're not going to do that. The time will come. It's again the issue of price. We do not, it's Ukrainians, it's the people of Ukraine who will pay the price for the reluctance of NATO to act. Ukrainians will go back to the country to a large extent destroyed by Russian bombers and artillery and rockets. But then we will roll our sleeves up and we will build an even more beautiful country. We are all committed to that, and we will all take part in that. When it comes to the talks with Russians, I cannot say that there is any progress in it. We all hope that the humanitarian corridors, which were agreed upon during the last round of talks, would work. Unfortunately, at least as we speak, these humanitarian corridors are not available because of the Russian fire and shellings. But every war ends with diplomacy and with talks. So we have to continue talking, but we are not going to these talks to accept Russian ultimatums. Again, trust me, thousands of people in Ukraine sacrificed their lives, men, women, old, young, to defend the country. When we prevail, and I have no doubts in that, we will build a new Ukraine. And that country will be even better than the one that Russia destroyed. Thank you.
We are talking about and working on everything. We're doing that. Secretary of Defense Austin and his counterpart, Mr. Reznikov, are doing that. We are, again, looking at everything. And as I said before, the support for Ukraine not only has been unprecedented, not only is it going to continue, it's going to increase. And what we've seen, I think, as Dmytro said, is a sea change. And a sea change that's being shown around the world in terms of its support. There's a very, very strong tide in support of Ukraine and against the horrific aggression committed by Russia. Putin's made a terrible, terrible, terrible mistake in many ways, but it starts with the proposition that somehow Ukraine doesn't exist as an independent country. What Ukrainians are showing every single day is, of course, exactly the opposite. And ultimately, their strength, their resolve, their determination, backed by the United States and backed by the world, is going to prevail. It's as simple, as straightforward as that. But Dmytro's right. At what price? We want to do everything we can to make sure that that price is as low as possible, and that this happens as quickly as possible. But we're in it with Ukraine one way or another. The short run, the medium run, the long run. We're in this together. We will succeed together. Ukraine is going to prevail.
Thank you all very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Alright, guys, we gotta go back to the motorcade. Yeah, I know. Guys, we're going back to the motorcade.
Yeah.
Alright, everybody.